Look at your hand for a moment. Just your hand. You see 5 fingers, some lines, and your thumb. Your thumb is that thick, strong finger that helps you hold a pen or a cup. It is a small part of your body, right? But without it, you are weak. Now, think about your life, your big goals, your career, your dreams. We often focus on the big things, the huge mountain we want to climb. We want to go up, higher and higher, to the very top. But have you ever tripped over a mountain? No, you don't trip over mountains, you trip over a small pebble, a tiny little stone on the road. Today, I'm going to tell you a story about Andrew. He had a $1 million dream. He had the best equipment and a perfect plan. But his business was dying. He was losing everything because he couldn't see the tiny, invisible details. He just ignored them. By the end of this video, you will learn why the most successful people in the world don't just look at the horizon. They look at their feet. They look at the small things. This lesson will change how you look at your work, your relationships, and even your morning coffee. Are you ready to see the invisible? Let's begin.
Andrew was a man with a big plan. He didn't want a small cafe, he wanted a palace of coffee. He spent years saving money, and finally he was ready. "Everything must be perfect," Andrew said to his reflection in the window. He bought the most expensive Italian espresso machine. It was huge, silver, and cost more than a car. He bought gold signs for the walls and heavy, dark wooden tables. He hired 5 baristas, the people who make and serve coffee, and gave them beautiful white uniforms. Andrew was proud. He felt very good about himself and his success. He looked at his shop and saw a masterpiece. On the first day, he opened the doors and waited. He expected a crowd, a huge group of people pushing to get inside. But the street was quiet. A few people walked past. One man looked at the gold sign, looked at the heavy door, and kept walking. An hour passed, then 2. Finally, one customer entered. He bought 1 coffee, sat at a big wooden table for 5 minutes, and left without a smile. By the end of the week, Andrew was sitting alone in his expensive palace. The silver machine was shining, the uniforms were clean, but the cash register was empty. Andrew was confused. He had the best coffee, the best location, and the most expensive furniture. What was missing? He didn't know that he was blind to the small things. Andrew sat behind his expensive counter. He was frustrated. He felt angry and disappointed because his plan was not working. Every hour he checked his phone. No customers. Every 10 minutes he cleaned the silver coffee machine. It was already perfect, but Andrew had nothing else to do. Suddenly, the heavy door opened. A woman walked in. Her name was Irene. She didn't look like a rich critic. She wore a simple coat and a warm smile. "Good morning," Irene said. Andrew just nodded. He didn't smile back. He was too busy thinking about his empty cash register, the machine that holds the money from sales. Irene ordered a simple latte. Andrew made it perfectly. He used the best milk and the most expensive beans. He put the cup on the heavy wooden table. "Here is your coffee," Andrew said. Irene took a sip. She looked around the big, silent room. Then she looked at Andrew. "Andrew," she said softly, "your coffee is a masterpiece. It is a work of art, the best in the city. But your shop is like a beautiful museum.
People visit museums to look, but they don't stay to live. Andrew was confused. He didn't understand. He felt mixed up in his head. "What do you mean, Irene? Everything here is the best. The tables, the gold, the machine." Irene pointed to a chair. "Listen," she said. She moved the chair. It made a loud, sharp screech, a high, unpleasant sound on the floor. Andrew covered his ears. "That sound," Irene said, "is a small thing, but to a customer, it feels like a cold wind. You are looking at the big gold signs, Andrew, but you are blind to the small pebbles. You see the mountain, but you don't feel the floor." Andrew looked at the floor. For the first time, he didn't see the expensive wood. He saw the dust in the corner. He heard the loud clock on the wall. Tick, tock, tick. It sounded like a bomb, not a cafe. "I see," Andrew whispered. "I'm looking, but I'm not noticing." To notice means to see something and understand its importance. "Exactly," Irene smiled. "Now let's start again, not with the gold, but with the dust." Irene's words changed everything. Andrew realized that he was building a business for his ego, but he needed to build it for people. He decided to spend 1 week changing only the invisible things. Step 1. The sound of silence. Andrew remembered the screech of the chairs. He bought small, soft pads and put them on the legs of every chair. Now, when a customer moved a chair, it was silent. He also changed the music. It was no longer loud and fast. He chose soft, acoustic songs that felt like a warm blanket. Step 2. The magic of scent. Andrew noticed that his shop smelled like expensive leather and cleaning chemicals. People want to smell coffee, not a hospital, he thought. He changed his cleaning schedule. He also started baking small cinnamon rolls in a tiny oven. The scent, the beautiful smell in the air, changed the atmosphere. It felt like home. Step 3. The touch of comfort. He looked at his napkins. They were cheap and thin. He replaced them with thick, soft paper that felt like cloth. He checked the temperature of the cups. He began to preheat them, which means to make the cups warm before pouring the coffee. "A cold cup kills a hard heart," Andrew whispered. Step 4. The power of names. This was the hardest part. Andrew was shy, but he started to talk to people. When a man named Mark came in for the 3rd time, Andrew didn't just say, "What do you want?" He said, "Good morning, Mark. The same strong espresso today?" Mark's face lit up. To light up means to suddenly look very happy and surprised. Mark felt special. He wasn't just a customer, he was a guest. Finally, Andrew looked at the exit. He put a small bowl of high-quality chocolates near the door with a sign, "A small gift for a great day." It was free. It was a tiny thing, but it was the last thing people saw before they left. By the end of the month, Andrew didn't need to check his phone for customers. He could hear them. He heard the quiet chairs, the soft music, and the sound of people laughing. The vibe, the general feeling of the place, was completely different. One rainy Tuesday, the door opened. A man entered. He was wearing a sharp gray suit and carrying a leather notebook. The room became quiet. It was Mr. Sterling, the most feared food critic in the country. He was famous for being harsh, very strict, and difficult to please. Andrew felt his heart beat faster. In the past, he would have panicked. He would have checked the gold signs or cleaned the silver machine again. But now, Andrew stayed calm.
He trusted his small things. Mr. Sterling sat down at table number 3. He didn't look at the menu. He watched. First, he moved his chair. He expected a loud screech, but there was only silence. He paused. He looked at the floor, then at the legs of the chair. He touched the soft pad with his finger. Then he took a napkin. He felt the thickness of the paper. He didn't throw it away. He felt the texture. Andrew approached the table. He didn't treat Mr. Sterling like a king. He treated him like a friend. "It's a cold morning, sir. Would you like a warm cup to start? I have preheated it for you." Mr. Sterling looked surprised. When the coffee arrived, he didn't drink it immediately. He smelled the air. He closed his eyes and inhaled the scent of cinnamon and fresh beans. The critic stayed for an hour. He didn't write anything in his notebook. He just sat there, looking at the small details. Finally, he stood up to leave. At the door, he saw the bowl of chocolates. He took one, read the sign, and for the first time in 10 years of reviews, Mr. Sterling smiled. The next day, the newspaper had a headline, "The Golden Palace is gone. The soul of the city is found." Mr. Sterling wrote, "Most owners try to blind you with gold, but Andrew invited me into a world of care. In this cafe, the chairs are silent, the cups are warm, and the owner knows that a business is not built with bricks, but with heart. It is a rare find. Something is rare when it is not common. It is special and hard to find."
Success didn't just bring Andrew money, it brought him fulfillment. Fulfillment is that deep feeling of happiness because your life has a purpose. His cafe was now full every day, but Andrew never stopped looking at the small pebbles. One evening, Irene returned. She sat at her favorite table. Andrew brought her a latte without her asking. "You remembered," she smiled. "I remember everything now, Irene," Andrew said. "You taught me that a big dream is just a collection of tiny moments. If the moments are empty, the dream is hollow." Irene nodded. Most people wait for a big miracle to change their lives, but a miracle is just a small thing that you finally notice. So, what is the lesson for you, the person listening this story? Perhaps you are not opening a coffee shop. Perhaps you are learning English, building a career, or raising a family. Don't just wait for the big victory. Look at the details. Is it the way you say thank you to a stranger? Is it the extra 5 minutes you spend practicing one difficult word? Is it the clean desk where you work? These are not just details, they are the foundation. When you take care of the small things, the big things take care of themselves. Like Andrew, you have a choice. You can look at the horizon and wait for a mountain, or you can look at the path under your feet and find the gold in the pebbles. Remember, the world is loud, but the most important things are often whispered. To whisper means to speak very quietly, using your breath. Listen to the whispers of your life, because small things don't just matter. Small things are everything. Thank you for listening. What is one small thing you will improve today? Tell us in the comments. And as always, keep learning and keep noticing.